What's happening? This is your girl Megan. Welcome back to my channel if you're already a subscriber. And if this is your first time joining me on today, go ahead, hit that subscribe button because you know you want to. And also make sure you click that notification bell so you'll be alerted whenever I make a new post. Okay? So, tonight I wanted to do a birth chart reading for rapper Wale. He's a DC based rapper, and I believe he broke out onto the scene back in 2009 when he did his song with, I think it was with Lady Gaga. It was called International, something of that nature. But since then, he's going on to put out a few mixtapes, a few albums, a couple of projects. I believe he was even with Rick Ross's group, what was that, MMG or whatever, at some point. And he has this kind of poetic style of rap, almost like spoken word. And I would even rival him to a J. Cole or a Kendrick Lamar. And he actually became, popular around the same time that they came onto the scene as well. And it's just very interesting to see that J. Cole and Kendrick Lamar have reached a certain level of mainstream success. Meanwhile, Wale wasn't really able to do the same thing. So I was just thinking about artists today, and Wale kind of came across my mind. He released a new video with Megan Thee Stallion, and I was like, it'd be interesting to see what he has going on in his chart, because I've always thought he was a very interesting kind of character. Wale was born on September the 21st, 1984 in Washington, D.C. I don't have a birth time listed for him, so I'm just going to go over his aspects. So his sun is at the 28th degree of Virgo, and it's conjoined to his Mercury. And this just points towards him being smart as fuck. And when you think about it, it makes sense because you have to be somewhat intelligent to be able to put together words like that. He's, like I said, I would even consider him a spoken word type of artist. This man is brilliant. Wordplay, crazy. And anytime you have Mercury sitting in its home sign of Virgo, it's chilling. It's going to perform exceptionally well. And these people with this placement tend to be smart as fuck. They could even be teachers. So, I mean, that is very telling. And I've always thought Wale was a very intelligent type of guy. Now his sun is square his Neptune. And remember, his sun is in the 28th degree, and it's like 1 degree away from the crisis degree of that 29, and this could point towards somebody having really big identity issues. So when it's making a square to his Neptune, which is in the 28th degree of Sagittarius, this could point, first of all, this man is living, like, he has to be living a double life, lots of secrets. There's something, and it reinforces the theme of having identity issues times 20. There's something about him to whether it's like he's not sure about who he is, or maybe there's a part of his personality to which he tries to conceal from the public. And that's kind of a reoccurring theme here based off of what I see in this chart, but we'll get to that. So yeah, Sun square Neptune right away. And it also makes him highly insecure. And that I could definitely see, because Wale is known for being hyper emotional, for going on these rants and these tangents. He hasn't made the headlines recently, but maybe like a few years ago, his ass stayed in the headlines for, just having emotional outbursts, beefing with rappers. And he would do this thing where he would get online and I guess chastise his fans or chastise the public and complain about how he's not, to where he wants to be in his career. And it's like, yeah, you can tell that he probably spends a lot of time comparing himself to other people, other rappers. He's definitely one of those artists who spend a lot of their time on social media, probably even searching their name, trying to see, what people have to say. He's not unbothered by any stretch of the imagination. This motherfucker is listening. He's well aware of all of the criticisms and the critiques that people may have about him, and he feels them very deeply. And his sun and Neptune are making a square to his black moon Lilith in the sign of Aries. Yeah. So this points towards Wale having hidden desires. I don't know like a nice way to put this. This points towards him having hidden desires, and with that Aries energy there, Black Moon Lilith in the sign of Aries can produce somebody who has very like sexual, deeply rooted, almost like obsessive, impulsive kind of sexual urges. R. Kelly has the same placement, or Black Moon Lilith placement anyway. So this could point towards Wale actually being at odds with his sexuality, just straight up. Straight up. And that Aries energy just points towards the likelihood of it being towards men, him having an attraction towards men or masculinity. And y'all ever notice how just dedicated and just engulfed he is in his friendships? I'm not saying men can't be close or men can't forge, nurturing and just, harmonious relationships with one another. But a couple years ago, I think him and Meek Mill fell out. Like he would do this thing, like he was just so just overly invested in his relationships with other men. And, I ain't never seen nothing like it before. Not coming from a heterosexual man. And while we at it, there have been rumors circulating about Wale sleeping with men around the DC area. Now, the first thing that came in my mind when I heard this wasn't even the fact that he could have potentially been gay. I don't give a fuck about that. Nigga, do you know how high the HIV rate is in fucking DC? It's worse than Atlanta, and that's bad. That's saying a lot, okay? Because in Atlanta, it's bad. So I'm like, well, I hope my boy Wale out here strapping up, you know what I'm saying, before he get that bussy pounded, because it's real out here. Niggas is dying. But anywho, there was a picture circulating that showed what appeared to be Wale sleeping, cuddling up in the bed next to a homie lover friend. I'm assuming after a nice smashing session. And I'm going to put the picture here. Y'all take a look for yourselves. Let me know. Y'all think this is Wale or not? And based off of his chart, there is a strong possibility that he could absolutely be snuggling up and cuddling up next to his bae, you know what I'm saying, his man bae at night. And that's okay. Even if it's not him in the photo, he clearly has all of the telltale indicators of somebody who is, like I said, at odds with their sexuality, confused about their sexuality even. So even if he's not actively messing with other men, I would put my money on the fact that he like wrestles with the idea every fucking day. And his sun is making a square to his Jupiter, which is in Sagittarius as well. So his Jupiter and his Neptune are conjoined. And this just points towards somebody really putting a lot of energy into concealing their true identity. Period. It just reinforces that. it reinforces that theme here. Now, another interesting thing that I see here is his Mercury is in square to his Mars. And this just deals with Wale being very petty and argumentative. It deals with him being very just like fiery and combative with just the way that he communicates with people, which I see that also because, like I said, it's almost like he's like constantly defending himself, trying to prove a point. He hasn't been in the headlines as much lately, but a few years ago, maybe 2 or 3 years ago, you couldn't get on the internet without seeing Wale clapping back at somebody or voicing his opinion about something. Very defensive, you know. And with his Mercury also making a square to his Uranus, it could point towards him oftentimes getting into a lot of confrontations and situations by saying things that he probably didn't mean, or him speaking before he thinks type of thing. You know what I'm saying? Just really quick-witted, quick with the mouth, and oftentimes just in general in life that can get you into a lot of shit. Now, on the upside, this aspect can make for somebody who is very eccentric and even like a brilliant mind, which, I mean, once again, that's a reoccurring theme in the chart here also. He's definitely intelligent, but a lot of times the way you present yourself with this aspect, you tend to ruffle a lot of feathers. And most time it's unknowingly, because I mean, it's just naturally in your nature. And with this aspect, people tend to feel like isolated or cut off from mainstream society, or maybe even discriminated against just because the element of them being so quirky and different, and like I said, just quick-witted, kind of just bold and electric type of personalities. So as a result, you know, people could label them. They could feel like they're overlooked. And this is exactly what I feel is going on with Wale. And just, it kind of just adds to that level of insecurity, because I really do feel like people have kind of just wrote him off. You know what I'm saying? Just, it's like, oh, he's the poetic rapper, or he's just, you know, this type of guy, that type of guy. And he's kind of put himself in a box, so to speak. And now he's literally suffering from being placed in a box that he built, which isn't really necessarily a bad thing. It doesn't have to be a bad thing, depending on how you look at it. And it seems to me like Wale wants to be accepted just so bad that he's not really looking at the same things that make him unique. You know what I'm saying? So the very things that could cause somebody to alienate you from your peers is the same thing that you can use and weaponize and set yourself apart and carve out your own lane, carve out your own niche. Wale has lots of fans. He has a lot of people who love him, who like to listen to him. But instead of focusing on the positive, I feel like he oftentimes focuses on other people, what's going on around him, and what he doesn't have career-wise. And the fact that his Mars and his Neptune are conjoined to his South Node in Sagittarius, it really just reinforces that, because this aspect points towards somebody who tends to create a lot of problems for themselves. Because you got to remember, your lunar node placements, the South Node represents what you were in a previous life or maybe earlier in life. And there's this karmic responsibility placed on us in this lifetime to move away from those characteristics and into the characteristics of our North Node. So with the Gemini North Node, Wale really just has a karmic duty to come up off of them world views that he clings so tightly to. Everybody's not against you. Everybody's not trying to fight you. Developing some of that, those Gemini North Node traits would consist of being able to open yourself up to experiences, to learn from experiences, and to possibly even teach others. Like I said, his heavy Mercury influence in his chart does point towards him being a very good teacher. And then finally, his Uranus is making a square to his asteroid Juno, which, as we all know, deals with his relationship. So this just reinforces him being into like unorthodox shit. Okay, read in between the lines there. It's all over his chart. So that pretty much concludes my birth chart reading for Wale. It's kind of brief. I didn't go over his entire chart. I just wanted to discuss a few things that just jumped out at me. So with that being said, drop a comment in the comment section below. Let me know what you thought about this reading. As always, make sure you hit this like button, share this video with family and friends, And make sure you practice unconditional self-love so that you can love others. And until next time, I'll holla.